UK leader. Well, William Clouston is leader of the Social Democratic Party and joins me now. William, what do you think about this? Do you agree with Nigel Farage that this is sinister and that it won't help? What's your view?
Well, we're against it. We issued a press release this afternoon in the SDP opposing this. I think it has so many problems. I mean, the first issue I have with it is that it's mandatory. I mean, the government's saying unless you have a digital ID, you can't work. So they're making it mandatory, and yet they have no mandate for it. Could you remember this proposal being in the Labour manifesto from last year?
It certainly wasn't.
I can't. No. So that's the first issue. The second thing is that they're selling this on a false premise. I mean, it's unnecessary. They're pretending that we need this because we want to stop people working illegally. Well, working illegally is illegal already. You're not allowed to work unless you have a national insurance number, and you're not allowed to work here if you're an illegal immigrant, and you're not entitled to be here anyway. So I think it's a distraction. What they're doing, they're concealing the real reason why they want to do this, I think.
What do you think the real reason is?
I think they've been lobbied by big tech interests, and I think there's the hand of the Tony Blair Institute in this, which receives massive funding from these people. And I think they want to unify the data so they can use it and exploit it, basically, for commercial gain. And I think the problem with this is that there is a difference between corporate interests, and I can understand big tech wanting to make lots of money out of tech, and actually we live in a world where the solution to all the problems is more tech and buy more stuff. I can see they want to do that, but there's a big difference between that, Peter, and the national interest, and there's a big difference between that and citizens' interests. So I find the whole thing very, very concerning. And actually, if anyone wants to investigate this, I would point them to a recent article in the New Statesman about the Tony Blair Institute, who are just hammering this, and I think the government is in their pockets.
Isn't there merit in this scheme to some degree, William, if it is helping people access services, if it is putting information together? For example, we heard from a Labour MP earlier on who said cancer patients wouldn't have to tell every bit of government about their condition, for example, because it would actually unify the information. Now, I am quite worried about that as a concept, but could there be benefits to this?
Well, I'm not a Luddite. I'm on the NHS app myself, and it's very useful. So I'm not against tech being used in this way. But again, I think they're using it under a false premise. They're selling it today, and it's still early stages. We have to wait and see. But they're selling it today as a means of stopping illegal employment. And now people are saying, well, it's got something to do with the health service. The health service issue is a different thing anyway, because, again, American big tech is very, very keen on getting its hands on this massive pool of data. And actually, it has been estimated that the annual value of this, if they could get the whole thing in one box, is several billion. People have estimated 10 billion a year. So again, commercial interests would be interested in that. I mean, from a citizen's point of view, I want the NHS to be as efficient as possible, and use of technology is very important to that. But what they're proposing, it seems, is to put everything in a single place. And again, from a cyber security point of view, Peter, there can't be a day that goes by that someone hasn't been hacked. There's this awful story, this nursery. You've got to call.
Well, we've all received those emails, William, haven't we, where they say you now need to change your password for this account, or we're sorry your data has been compromised. I mean, I've received a number of those emails. I never quite know what to do with them. I never quite know, well, is this a big thing? Is this a small thing? Do I need to worry? Do I not need to worry? What do I need to do? And they often say change your password or whatever. Usually I end up just not doing business with that business any longer, it must be said. But the potential for hacking huge amounts of information, and information that's been kind of put together, the metadata, that's what worries me.
That's exactly what worries me, Peter, because for the same reason, again, Jaguar Land Rover, the Co-op, lots of retailers, lots of banks, constantly getting hacked, and their security. And, the government itself can't be trusted. It's proved that it can't be trusted to keep data securely. So, I mean, I often, when these things occur, I ask what I call the Sergeant Wilson question. Is putting all this information in one place, is that terribly wise?
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah. I just wonder, just before you go, if I could ask you about the Morgan McSweeney investigation. This is the Electoral Commission, which has said they're not going to reopen their investigation into the Prime Minister's Chief of Staff, Morgan McSweeney, over the Labour Together donation scandal. It said it found no evidence of any other potential offences. What do you make of this?
Well, I don't think there's a great deal to make of it. I mean, they were investigated a few years ago. It's 2021, isn't it? There were a number of breaches, and I can see the Tories being disappointed. But if Elcom decide there's nothing to see, there's nothing to see. OK. William, thank you. That's William Clouston there. He's leader of the Social Democratic Party. Appreciate you joining us this evening. Let's speak to